Hello and welcome to this review of Battlefield 1 while running on the Pentium G3258. Now, I love the G3258, I think it's a fantastic enigma of a CPU. It is only a dual core, it has no hyperthreading, it has low cache, and it's only clocked at 3.2 GHz. So why is this CPU used by so many in their budget gaming builds? Well, it is unlocked and it happens to be an absolute fantastic overclocker, and we've seen it over the last couple of years go toe to toe with much more expensive hardware and come out with only a few bruises. It is one of those CPUs that just loves to punch above its weight. Now, this is especially true in the last few years when a lot of games are only taking advantage of a single CPU core, but now we're starting to see, with the advent of developers really getting to grips with the new games consoles like the PS4 and Xbox One, that games are starting to roll out that are requiring a quad-core CPU at the very least. So I really wanted to see how a AAA title like Battlefield 1 actually fared when it was paired with this lowly Pentium G3258. So the rig that we've got it in is my budget gaming build. It has been overclocked to 4.2 GHz. Now, I do have aftermarket cooling on this in the form of the Ryzen Tech IDOS, and I can push that clock frequency higher, but 3.2 up to 4.2 is something that anybody, even with the stock cooling fan, can easily achieve just by changing the multiplier. So for the sake of this test, I've decided to keep it at the 4.2 GHz. We're also running an R9 280X, which in itself has been mildly overclocked by about 10% on both the core clock speed and the RAM speed. And of course we've got 8GB of DDR3 RAM. Now this is just Corsair's value, the cheapest I could get to slam in this budget gaming build. So upon booting it up, it boots up completely fine. It sets everything to medium settings, and as you can see, the game still looks absolutely fantastic. DICE has done a really good job in making something that was so horrible look really pretty, and it really does. It's an enjoyable world to go through. But I know you're going to be asking me, how does it actually run on this dual core Pentium? Well, in the single player, I enjoyed the whole campaign and it averaged about 35 FPS over the course. Now I know there's going to be so much PC gamers that are thinking that 30 FPS on average is absolute sacrilege in a PC game, but the reality of it is, it's a highly scripted campaign and 30 FPS is more than enjoyable. If this was an online only shooter and it was competitive multiplayer, of course 60 FPS is the bare minimum. Now I know you're probably sitting here thinking, I don't come to Battlefield for the single player, I come for the multiplayer, so how does that fare? Well, that's a bit of a different story. In short, the multiplayer on this dual core Pentium, it doesn't really hold up that well. Now we know that it's a lot more CPU intensive when running multiplayer, and this is really evident because I averaged about 20 FPS, as you'll see in the video. It's really quite stuttery, but I averaged 20 FPS during my limited time playing multiplayer on the G3258, and it did not matter one bit if I was gaming at 800 by 600 with everything on low, or if I was trying to game at a full 1080p with everything on medium or high. It gave me the exact same frame rate, which showed me that it wasn't limited to the graphics card. This was definitely a CPU issue. Now I do know that there are a few guides out there that can help with this, and if you're happy enough getting into the depths of the system files and tweaking, you can get it to run a little bit better. But for the average Joe, you're probably not going to want to play Battlefield 1 online on a dual core CPU. So the final thoughts on this game, I was really happy with how the Pentium G3258 actually coped with the single player. It was an enjoyable experience, like I said, but you're going to have to decide for yourself what you are wanting out of this game. If you're somebody who just wants to pick up the single player and you happen to have a G3258 or a similar style Pentium or i3 dual core processor, then you're probably going to get quite a lot of enjoyment out of it and you're going to have a good time with the single player. If however you're somebody that sees yourself going on to competitive multiplayer online, I would only recommend that you buy Battlefield if you're thinking about an upgrade in the future. For me, it's still one of the best looking games that I've played on this Pentium G3258. It looks fantastic, but I really do think we're starting to see the performance ceiling of what we can start expecting from these dual core processors. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the latest generation of consoles are all multi-core CPUs, and developers are really starting to get to grips with this, and the fact that consoles have this is putting an expectation on us PC gamers to have at least quad cores in their systems. At the end of the day though, it is entirely your choice. As you can see, the game still looks absolutely gorgeous and the single player is worth a playthrough. But like I said, if you've got something like a G3258, even a highly overclocked one, I would go in with your expectations tempered of what you're actually going to receive. But thumbs up have to go to DICE. They have created a fantastic game. But I do think that we're starting to see the limit of what we can expect from these really budget dual core CPUs. Anyway, if you liked this video, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.